Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. And I thank you for taking the time to see what God has in store for you. I'm supposed to be live. It looks like I'm live. Wow. Now I'm live. Now I'm live. Okay, well, God bless you and thank you for tuning in. Today is the 3rd of January, and we're going into Psalm 119, verse 3. Remember, this is what we're going through. One verse a day out of Psalm 119, and today I'm reading again out of the Passion Translation, and we'll see what God has in store. I only read this, once late last night in the middle of the night. So let's see what he's got for us. So verse 3 says, they'll never do what's wrong, but will always choose the paths of the Lord. Wow. Who's the they? They. We always say that, don't we? They said they're doing, they. Who is the they? And this is one of the, maybe this won't be the first, this won't be the last time, but right now, the they they're talking about takes us right back to verse 2, where it talks about those who are overwhelmed. Those who are overwhelmed and who seek the ways of God. Wow. So those who seek God, those who are overwhelmed with joy, will never do what's wrong. Oh my gosh. Now, does that put a little pressure on you? Huh? Think about it. Does that put pressure on you? What if you read that verse the way I just gave it to you, and you may think, wow, am I seeking after joy? Am I really overwhelmed with joy? Am I doing what's wrong? If I do one thing wrong, does that mean that God is not listening, that he just dropped me off in the middle of the abyss? There I'm gone. No. Look, one, Old Testament. Old Testament. 2, we're in a new covenant. We can see this because you know what? We need to see that we're following after God. We're going after him. We want to be overwhelmed by his presence. Overwhelmed. And a part of his presence is joy. If we're in that area, then you know what? Doing what's wrong is outside of his will. We try not to do those things. We are not searching for it, but hey, God, don't you think God knows that you're going to blow it? Don't you think he knows that? Don't you think that that's why it says in the New Testament, and those things that are addressed to us specifically, that he says, hey, you confess your sin, he casts as far as the east is from the west, and you don't remember it no more. That if your heart condemn you, he's bigger than our heart. So if he's bigger than our heart, he's not concerned so much of what you do, but the content of your heart. That means, hey, if I'm searching after you and I blow it, that's the thing, that's one of those things that the enemy wants to do. Steal, kill, and destroy. You're not going down there because we're not ignorant of his devices. All of these things play into this one little verse. Oh my gosh. Do you see how big it is, how important it is for us to understand what God has written? We want to be one of those that never do what's wrong. But will always choose the paths of the Lord. The paths of the Lord. So there are a lot of paths that are set before us. And the one that he shows us is the one that we need to take. But that means we have to be open to how the Spirit of God moves within us so that we know. After all, didn't Jesus say that my sheep hear my voice? So in other words, wow, that brings us back to other things that have also been written to us, doesn't it? How is God going to put a lamp to your feet if you're not looking for the light? We're looking at everything else. So in other words, it is the joy of the Lord that we're overwhelmed by, so we're looking for what he's doing, so that the paths we choose come from him. And if we're doing that, you know what? The things that are wrong, we don't do. And I think that's awesome. Hey, I'm getting blessed by doing this. I really am. One verse a day, and it opens up to us a whole lot of things, doesn't it? Isn't God good? Isn't he good? Isn't he awesome? He is the one that has called you out of darkness into his marvelous light, because you are surrounded, you are engulfed, you are wrapped into Christ. That is awesome. And you know what? Then you will never do what's wrong. Never. Why? Because you're overwhelmed by his presence. I think that is awesome. Hey, you have an awesome day. God bless you. And see you tomorrow.